Hello, everybody. I wanted to take some time here to talk about stocks versus bonds versus annuities. This is a conversation that comes up a lot with my clients, and for the most part, I can give them a pretty simple answer, and we'll see if these answer some of your apprehensions. Most of us have been brought up to appreciate the Standard and Poor's. You know, these are the top companies. A lot of the benchmarks of investing is based on the Standard and Poor's. And this is a group of companies that are made up of, that consist of stocks and bonds. Bonds are government vehicles. So, some people will have an account that's 50% stocks, 50% bonds. Maybe interest rates are going up, so I want to get some bonds. Maybe interest rates are going down. I want to get some stocks. So it's a guessing game. It's like legalized Las Vegas. But that's a lot of what we've been led to believe is our only option. Many of the 401ks consist of options to invest in stocks and bonds and a cash account. And a person will maybe look at their account and say, hey, I'm not sure what's going on with the market here. I'm going to move my money into cash. So you're not going to lose anything, but you might be making 1 or 2%. So you're not even keeping pace with inflation. So really your account, even though it didn't lose anything, it did lose something because it's not keeping pace with inflation. So one of the other options that's out there are annuities. And annuities, if you're talking to a broker, a financial broker, an equities guy, he doesn't like annuities. And I can't say this is the same for everyone, but a lot of them, they don't like them or they're not able to sell them. So the big brokerage houses, they can't maybe even sell them. And I'm going to give you my reason why. All right. One is a broker's objective is to accumulate as much money as they can from their customers. So they want to accumulate customers and then accumulate that so that they have what's called money under management. So they'd like to have $1 million, $10 million, $100 million under management. Because you know what? They make money when the account goes up and they make money when the account goes down. So even if you've had a bad year, they still made money. And this is based on the fees. And the fees are sometimes very, very hard to find. But I'm going to simplify this. Let's say the fee is 1%. You say, that's not a whole lot of money. Good for that guy. He's got to feed his family. So if you have 1% and you have $100,000, that's $1,000 a year of a fee that's not going into your account and that's not accumulating. That broker is getting paid. And if you look over that's 10 years, that's $10,000. Let's say your account didn't make anything. Let's say it was just flat. The broker still made $10,000. And I'm not saying this is because it's a bad thing. It's just the way it is. So somebody thinks 1% isn't a whole lot. Well, again, you do the math. So if it's $1 million, do the math. It's a considerable amount. So if a broker who's good, and there's a lot of good ones out there, has $1 million, $5 million, $10 million under management, you do the math. It's pretty good income. It's a pretty good deal. Now, the situation with annuities is different. Annuities, when a person puts their money into an annuity, none of what's paid to the agent comes from your money. The agent that sells the annuity is paid by the insurance company. So no money is pulled out. If you put $100,000, 1,000 of it isn't going to go to the agent. And again, annuities are sold by insurance agents. So you put in 100 is going to grow. Now, what brokers will try to tell you and scare you away is that, annuities have surrender charges. And basically what this is this allows the insurance company who own these annuities to put your account in an environment where you are never going to lose a penny. So if the market drops, your annuity value does not drop. It might not grow, but it's not going to drop. In a stock and a bond account, the market drops, your account value drops. So if you have a stock or a bond account and it drops 10% and you have $100,000, you now have 90. In an annuity, if you have $100,000 and what the annuity was invested in drops 10%, your account is going to be at zero. So you're still going to have $100,000. And it's very key to understand this. See, annuities are not meant to be like a bank. If somebody told me I'm going to put my money in an annuity, I see the annuity's doing very well and it's safe, and I'm going to pull out a bunch of money the next year, I would tell you don't buy that annuity. Annuities are long-term type of investments. Annuities do give you the option to take some annuities, but for the most part, you're allowed to take out 10% a year with no surrender fee. And I just had a client that took out her 10% earlier in the year. She needed some more money. Her annuity's about 8 or 9 years old. It had a 4% surrender because the surrender charge goes down over time. So it may start at 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and it's in your account. When you get an annuity, you open it up, it's kind of about the size of a magazine, and it'll show you what your surrender charge is. And the agent selling you the annuity will show you that on the illustration as well. So hers was about 4%. So she was going to take out, I think, $3,000. So she was going to get a surrender charge of $120. Okay. And then next year it'll be at 3%, 2%. If you keep that annuity for the whole period of time, whether it's a 10-year annuity, a 15-year annuity, a 5-year annuity, then there's no surrender charges. So then you're free to take out as much as you want, subject to whether the money was, as far as taxes, subject to whether it was a qualified or non-qualified. And that's, again, you can kind of talk to your CPA on those kind of things. But it's nothing to be scared of. It's just a word. You hear surrender fee, people get scared away. Your 401k can be funded with an annuity. I have a lot of customers that had 401ks from a previous employer, and we've rolled that into an annuity. And it was intended for long-term, 10, 20, 30 years. An annuity isn't something you put money in and then you want to take money out. But, you can do the 10%. But I said the intention of the annuity is long-term money. So if I have 20, 30 somethings that took a 401k or had a 401k from a previous employer, that conversation with them is, are you going to need this money in the next 20 or 30 years? No, we don't have a crystal ball, but for the most part, are you going to be purchasing a house? Or are you going to be needing this money? Are you going to be buying a car? Are you going to be needing this money? And if they said yes to either one of those, I wouldn't put it in an annuity. But if they said, hey, this was my 401k, it was intended for retirement, I'm going to put it in this account, and then we just kind of forget it. You get a statement every year that tells you what you've made on that, but it wasn't put in with the intention of turning around and taking it out. So really, at the end of the day, it's really your decision. But if you're kind of curious about this and see how it would apply to you, you can certainly reach out to me at financialprof.org, O-R-G, and we can have that conversation to see if an annuity makes sense. So until next time, make it a great day.